welcome to another episode of Scary Stories My Father Told Me. And I am your host, cosplayer charsieluxxx. I am dressed as my original character, the Winter Witch. Now on my main channel, I am throwing it out there to help give inspiration for an actual name for my Winter Witch. I had realized that this was the third time that I had done my Winter Witch. In fact, it might even be the fourth time, because yeah, I did years ago, back in 2020, 2021, around that time period, I had done a photo shoot, which was the original time that I had created and done the Winter Witch. But on my main channel for charsieluxxx, it has been the third time that I have used the character to be a character for my videos. So yeah, I've done this how many times and I still don't have a name for this character. I've made other original characters where I'd given them names, and I kind of threw it out there that for some odd reason, because of Winter Witch, I had kind of said Willow the Winter Witch. So yeah, having the triple W's would be a fun thing, but at the same time, Willow kind of felt like something that would be spring or summer related, so I wanted something that would still be similar to a winter season idea, or snow and ice. But anyways, enough about my Winter Witch and my cosplay and everything. Welcome back to another Scary Stories My Father Told Me, and I'm excited to tell an original story that I came up for this month's theme of They Stir Below. And this one is going to be very loosely inspired by the movie that I'm doing a movie review on, which is The Devil Below. So, come and join me for The Graveyard's Curse. The Graveyard's Curse by charsieluxxx. There's a small town in the Midwest that has an interesting myth surrounding it. At the top of a densely forested hill sits an old, ancient graveyard. Because of its faded tombstones, no one could pinpoint the exact date it was started. It was said in the early 1900s that the local undertaker was digging a grave. When he was at the 6-foot level, he made a remarkable discovery. He had happened to come across huge chunks of gold. But instead of keeping this incredible find a secret, he decided to bring it to the town mayor and his local council, and he asked them the question of, what would you like to do with this discovery? The town mayor and the rest of the committee were completely flabbergasted and also impressed by the fact that this undertaker decided to not keep this gold a secret, and that he wanted to share the discovery with everyone else. So they made the decision that no matter what they ended up doing, they wanted to keep the undertaker a part of the future plans. They obviously wanted to build a gold mine because they wanted to get to the riches that were below the graveyard. But then they had to go through that whole contemplation of morality, of is it okay to build a mine so close to a graveyard? So they came to an agreement and a conclusion, and the idea was that they would go ahead and they would build this mine next to the graveyard. But almost as if kind of hush money, they told the undertaker that any other gold that he would discover while digging the graves in the cemetery, that was his gold and his gold alone to keep. And that the gold from the mine, that a small percentage, no matter what, would always go towards the town. So there it was. The opening entrance to the mine was built only about a good 20 yards away from this cemetery. But the town was only seeing dollar signs at this time. And only within a short amount of time, the mine became very lucrative. So all thoughts of morality of building a gold mine extremely close to a cemetery was buried away by the fact that the whole town was becoming rich. Not just rich, but filthy rich on top of that. When word got out about the gold in this town, more people migrated to the place to work the mine. Several months had gone by, and the workers of the mine had dug deeper and deeper, and they were quickly finding more and more gold along the tunnels. But they soon had discovered that strange things were happening as they were digging deeper and deeper into the earth. Strange things that they couldn't account for at first. Tools would go missing or just misplaced. And several weird accidents kept happening, almost as if booby traps were set up along the tunnel. At first, the workers thought that somebody was trying to sabotage them, so they started turning on one another. But soon after this is when several of the people started going missing in the mine. Then, when people started mysteriously going missing, that's when they also started discovering these strange clawed marks that were showing up in the mud. And the deeper you would go into the mine, you would see more and more of these footprints showing up. And as the rumors started to fly about the workers going missing more and more, then all of a sudden, the local town folks themselves started disappearing. In the darkest of nights, when the stars and the moon were heavily hidden by thick, dense clouds, was the nights that the townsfolk could swear they could hear strange sounds of unfamiliar animals that they had never heard before. And it was always the following day that the town would discover that somebody else had gone missing. And sure enough, at the houses of the people who had disappeared were these same strange, mysterious footprints that were in the mine. Superstition and fear quickly spread throughout the town. Of course, what do people normally do with a mob mentality? They decided to blame the mayor and the council for creating this mine so close to a graveyard. And they started naming it the Graveyard's Curse. They had decided that the mine clearly was no longer safe, because they felt that the workers had created a gateway to hell, and that these creatures were demons coming to seek revenge on the town, and that they were there to punish them for their greed, and that this gold was blood money and it was dangerous. So the mayor and the committee and the rest of the town all decided to vote on what they wanted to do with the mine. And even knowing what a great loss it would be, they all unanimously voted to close down the mine. Going into the deepest part of the tunnel is where they decided to collapse the tunnels with explosives. Then at the entrance, they made sure that they blocked it away with boards and bricks so that no one else could enter. And sure enough, after the mine was closed away, the disappearances had finally stopped. As the years and decades had passed by, the story of the mine had turned into myth and urban legend for the local town. It felt as if it was only strange fables to tell the children, to scare them away from the area. But to this day, the local teenagers still like to play Truth or Dare up in the cemetery. And in the darkest of nights, when they are up in the cemetery and dare their friends to stand in front of the old abandoned mine. For if you are standing at the mouth of the mine, even on the other side of the rotted boards and the cracked bricks, you can hear haunting growls and moans traveling up through the tunnels. So even though to this day the town knows that the mine is rich with gold, no one dares to reopen it for fear of the Graveyard's Curse. As always, my little Luxes, I hope you enjoyed that little tale, that little scary story. I especially really hope that you enjoyed it due to the fact that this was an original one written by me, and I kind of just came up with it on a whim, like I said, letting it kind of be inspired by the urban legend of the well to hell, being inspired by the demon below, and that it goes perfectly on theme for the stir below. So yes, let me know what your thoughts are on that. I am really thinking of using Matt's story to be a prologue to a future long novel that I want to make inspired to this, and that to create the novel telling the stories of the teenagers who go into the graveyard to play truth or dare, and you can just imagine what's going to end up during their truth or dare game, that they might end up inside this mine at some point. They might accidentally release these strange creatures from below. We'll see. It's just a really fun idea, and it kind of kept popping up into my head. And then my hubby also brought up the idea where going more into depth with it and everything, to also remember to bring back up the Undertaker. He's the one that finds everything, and then after that he disappears from the story, and it's like, yeah, I can pull him back in, but if it's a prologue, you're just kind of told how this mysterious mine first came to be, until where you end up to the teenagers that are going to cause problems, more problems for this local town. So yes, thank you once again for joining me here on another Scary Stories My Father Told Me. And I would love for you to come and join my main channel for charsieluxxx. I'd also love for you to come and join my other social medias. You can follow me on my, I almost said Trivium. It's Trivium Tuesday today, so I've had Trivium on the brain. By the time I get this out, it will not be Tuesday because I still have to edit this. But anyway, you can join me on my Twitter or my BlueSky for charsieluxxx with 3 X's. You can join me on my Instagram or Threads for charsie87. And if you would like to help support me just a little bit more here on my channel, please come join my membership for my Patreon. And you can see on the screen my fellow members on my Patreon, and a huge thank you for joining and helping to support me. And please remember that I am the afterlife of the party, but I would love for you to come and join me here in the graveyard for the afterlife of the party. And always remember to slay, subscribe, like, and always be yourself. And remember to love yourself, because self-love is the best love you can give yourself. And until next time, my little Luxes, I hope you have a Luxy Charms kind of day. Bye!